Hello my dear students. Yes, so you have written Karnataka CET chemistry yesterday. I hope it was good. Okay, so this is a solid paper. Okay, so for the version A2 I have taken that what I got. Okay, so I'll going to read the question as well as the answer here so that you can just make it out which one you have done correct or not. Okay, so let us start. The first question was in this version was the copper is extracted. Okay, the copper is extracted from the copper pyrite by the options were like by the thermal decomposition, reduction by coke, okay, and electrometallurgy, auto reduction. So where we have studied, so the copper is extracted from the copper pyrite by treating it with a coke. Okay, so coke and the silica will be treated. Okay, so that is what. So here the reduction by the coke, option B or the answer is reduction by the coke is the answer. Okay, so this question is from the metallurgy. And the next question is the potassium during the Froth flotation process. Okay, function of potassium ethyl xanthate in the Froth flotation process is to make the ore. Okay, so if you remember, the Froth flotation process is particularly done for the sulfide ores. Okay, it is particularly done for the sulfide ores. And the main thing, whenever the froth is formed, the froth carries the ore particles. Okay, where that ore should be a water repellent, that it should not mix with the water. So for that reason some of the water repellent agent will be added. So water repellent is nothing but what? It is hydrophobic in nature. Okay, so for the answer for this question, where you have four options, that is lighter, hydrophobic, hydrophilic and the heavier. Okay, answer is it is hydrophobic. So option B, hydrophobic. Okay, so which paper you have, the option they have given in a different way. Okay, so here I am just giving the answer as well. So it is hydrophobic. Next, third question is sulfide ore on roasting gives a gas X, where that X reacts with a chlorine in presence of a activated charcoal to give Y. So what is that Y they are asking? See, sulfide ore whenever it is roasted. Okay, sulfide ore here I have taken particular like a zinc sulfide. Okay, ore of a like a sulfide ore, and when it is roasted, that is in presence of oxygen, when it is heated, it gives the zinc oxide and the sulfur dioxide gas is released. Okay, so that is the gas X. When that gas X is treated with a chlorine, okay, when that gas X is treated with a chlorine, it results in the formation of what? The SO2Cl2. Okay, that is sulfuryl chloride will be formed. Okay, so we have a four option. So like SO2Cl2 is the correct one. So in this paper, option A is the correct one, that is SO2Cl2. Okay, so let us move to the next question. That the question is, whenever, just a minute, yes, so aqueous solution of a salt forms a dense white fumes with a barium chloride solution. The precipitate dissolves in dilute HCl to produce a gas B, which decolorizes acidified potassium permanganate. So A and B are, okay, if you remember the salt analysis, during the analysis of a sulfate, okay, so we used to add the dilute HCl, where that a sulfate precipitated is insoluble in a cold dilute HCl. Okay, when excess HCl is added, but here they are telling that the precipitate dissolves in dilute HCl. Okay, so it is like a hot dilute HCl, so it may not be like barium sulfate, it is barium sulfite and SO2. Okay, that is option A is the correct one, that is BaSO3 and SO2. Okay, so the next question is bond angle in pH4 plus is more than that of a phosphine. This is because, okay, so if you remember the phosphine, okay, that is a nitrogen family, it comes one of the compound of a phosphorus, phosphine. Okay, so here what happens, phosphorus consists of a lone pair of electrons. Okay, let us discuss that. The phosphorus consists of a lone pair of electrons. Okay, so you could see here all the orbitals are used in a bonding, where in case of a pH4 plus, okay, so all, even the lone pair of electrons are involved in a bonding. So here what happens in case of a pH3, one lone pair of electron is present present. So there occurs the bond pair lone pair repulsion, where in case of a phosphine, okay, so that the bond angle will be very less than that of a 109.5 degree compared to pH 4+, okay. So it is because the lone pair and the bond pair repulsion will be there present in a phosphine. So option A is the correct one, that is bond pair lone pair or lone pair bond pair repulsion will be there, okay, in phosphine. So option A is the correct one, okay. So the next question is incorrectly matched pair is, okay. So they have given some of the compound, okay, with their structure they have mentioned over there, okay. So that is xenon trioxide trigonal pyramidal, where the xenon tetrafluoride is a square planar actually, okay, but they have mentioned it as a tetrahedral, okay. If I am not wrong, yes, they have mentioned it as a tetrahedral structure, okay. So that is wrong, okay. Since there is a presence of a lone pair of electrons, xenon tetrafluoride will be a square planar. So for the sixth question, okay, that is option B, xenon tetrafluoride is an incorrect match, okay. It should be square planar, but they have given tetrahedral. So option B is the correct one, okay. So let us move to the next question. Seventh question is phosphorus pentachloride, okay. Phosphorus pentachloride on hydrolysis gives an oxo acid of phosphorus which is tribasic. This is the answer, okay. So if you remember the phosphorus pentachloride that we have studied in a p block elements, this pentachloride when treated with the water, okay, when treated with the water, initially it gives POCl3, okay. When this POCl3 is further reacts with the water to give respective H3PO3, okay. This is an oxo acids of a phosphorus and it is a tribasic since 3 hydrogen atoms are present here, okay. So the answer for the seventh question, that is phosphorus pentachloride, is on hydrolysis gives an oxo acid of phosphorus which is tribasic. So option A is the correct one, okay. So for the seventh question, option A, that it's a tribasic and it's a oxo acid will be produced, okay. So next question is the eighth one. Identify the set of paramagnetic ions among the following. So if you remember, paramagnetism is due to the presence of unpaired electrons, okay. Due to the presence of unpaired electrons, here there are 4 options given, okay. So based on the configuration, if you remember the configuration, okay, if the unpaired electron is present in the d orbital, then you could say it will going to exhibit the paramagnetism, okay. So for this question, the option C, that is titanium +3, copper +2 and Mn+3, these are paramagnetic in nature, okay. So for the 8th question in version A2, okay, option C, that is titanium, Cu+2 and Mn+3 exhibit the paramagnetic nature, okay. So let us move to the next question, the 9th one. That is, the question is, how many moles of acidified, sorry, the 8th question we have completed, yes, the 9th question, how many moles of acidified potassium dichromate is required to liberate 6 moles of iodine from an aqueous solution of iodide, okay. If you remember this one, okay, this is quite simple. This is a general redox reaction that I have written, okay. The chromide, potassium dichromate in acidic medium converts the iodide into an iodine, okay. So this is a balanced reaction you could see here. So for a 3 moles of iodine, for the 3 moles of iodine to produce, how many moles of K2Cr2O7 we require? It is 1 mole, okay. So 1 mole of Cr2O7 produces 3 iodine molecule, means how much they are asking? They are asking for the 6 moles of iodine, okay. For the 6 moles of iodine, how much it will be produced? So X is equal to, let us take this as X is equal to 6 by 3, that is 2. So how many moles of dichromate is required? It is 2 moles of dichromate. So the answer or the option A, that is 2, is correct. So the next question, 10th one, that is Cu2Cl2 and CuCl2 in aqueous medium, okay. That is option A, CuCl2 is more stable than Cu2Cl2, or the stability of Cu2Cl2 is equal to stability of CuCl2. See, I'll just go to the direct answer here. So for the 10th question, that is like cupric chloride and the cuprous chloride, okay, where the oxidation state are totally different. In case of Cu2Cl2, the oxidation state of a copper is +1, okay, this is a configuration. So in case of a CuCl2, the oxidation state of a copper here is +2, okay, that is the configuration, okay. Here what happens, smaller the cation, here this cation is very small, okay, smaller the cation, okay, the size will be small and the degree of hydration will be more, okay. If the degree of hydration is more, its stability will be very high, okay. So for that reason, okay, CuCl2 is more stable than Cu2Cl2. So option A is that CuCl2 is more stable than the Ce2Cl2 is the answer, okay. So next one, 11th question, that the 11th question is the coordination number of iron and cobalt in the complex ion, okay. The coordination number of iron and the cobalt in the complex ion here is, so 1 point you need to concentrate here. The oxalate ion is a bidentate, okay. Bidentate means it will going to donate a 2 lone pair of electrons, that it will going to bond, it going to link with the central metal atom. One oxalate will bond with a 2, okay. So the coordination number, so how many ions or the how many ligands will be surrounding means it is 3 into 2, that is 6. The coordination number of iron, that is 6. When it comes to a thiocyanide, which is an ambidentate ligand, you could see it's a monodentate and the surrounding ligands for this cobalt is 4. So the coordination number is 4. So for this the answer is 6 and 4. Okay, coordination number 6 and 4, that is option D. Okay, so let us move to the next question. The number of stereoisomers exhibited. The number of stereoisomers exhibited by this particular complex, you could see here I have written, okay. So this, okay, ethylene diamine, okay, and a chloride. We have the structure over here, okay. So it will going to exhibit the cis and trans. When I say cis, okay, this is a structure where one is a D form, one is a levorotatory, okay, D dextrorotatory and the levorotatory, 2 over here, one more is a trans, totally 2 plus 1, 3. Okay, so that is the total stereoisomers exhibited by this compound is 3, that is option D is the correct one, okay. So the next question is, that is the 13th question. So the 13th question is, you need to name it. So for the 13th question, you need to nomenclate it, okay. So here I'll directly go to the answer that, so here whenever such type of a compound is given, the first part is a cation, the second part is a anion, okay. When it comes to cation, we will not going to represent it as a 8, only for the anion we'll write the central metal atom will going to join, that is ATE, okay. For this tetramine, okay, tetramine platinum, okay, 2, where the tetrachloridoplatinate 2. So option B is the correct one, okay. So that is option B is the correct. For the 14th question, for the version A2, the prolonged exposure of chloroform in human may cause damage to liver. It is due to the formation of the following compound, okay. So they have given twisted and they have given a question here, like whenever we have studied this in haloalkanes and the haloarenes, okay. So like whenever the chloroform is exposed to air, okay, when it comes in contact with the oxygen in presence of a sunlight, okay, it results in the formation of a COCl2, which we're going to call it as a posgen, okay, one of the poisonous gas, okay. So for this the answer is option B, that is COCl2. Okay, yes. Come to the next question, 15th. Which of the following halide shows highest reactivity towards SN1 reaction? So dear students, this has studied when I uploaded the last video, that is about some of the quick revision for the organic chemistry. There I have gave you that for the SN1 reaction, the order of reactivity is tertiary, secondary and the primary, okay. So they are asking the same question over here. The question is like which of the following halide shows the highest reactivity towards the SN1 reaction, okay. So the answer for here is the benzyl chloride. Okay, so this benzyl chloride, that is C6H5CH2Cl, that is option A, because there exists a resonance. Okay, so the carbocation will get stable by the resonance over here. Okay, so option A, that is benzyl chloride, is the correct one. Okay, so that is the 15th question. Let us move to the 16th question. Okay, so in this reaction they have given a reaction that, okay, so when the 2-methyl like propyl magnesium bromide, which is a Grignard reagent, when treated with a methylamine, that is a primary amine in presence of a dry ether, the X, what is the compound that is formed. Okay, but they're asking you people the number of possible isomers here. Okay, see, whenever the Grignard reagent is treated with the amine, that to primary amine, it will going to result in the formation of a alkane. Okay, so this is what the reaction I have written here. Okay, so here there is a results in the formation of a 2-methyl propane will be formed. Okay, so the isomer one, already I have written the structure, one more is the butane. So the possible isomer for the compound X is 2, that is option D is the correct one. Okay, come to the next question, that is the 17th question. Okay, so the 17th question is based on which of the following on heating gives an ether as a major product. Okay, which of the following on heating gives an ether as the major product. So dear students, this even I have told that for the Williamson ether synthesis, it will going to follow the SN2 mechanism. Okay, when I say SN2 mechanism, the order of reactivity is primary followed by secondary followed by tertiary. That is, primary alkyl halide should be there. The methoxide ions or the alkoxide can be any one, but the compulsory we should have the primary alkyl halide. Okay, so for this question we have that is Q. Okay, Q, that is we have sodium phenoxide. Okay, sodium phenoxide and methyl bromide, which is a primary alkyl halide. Okay, so that gives the respective anisole over here. So the Q is the correct one. So next one is P. Okay, that is C6H5CH2Br and sodium methoxide. Okay, so this is also will readily undergo the respective ether synthesis. So the answer for this one is option D, that is both P and Q. Okay, P and Q will readily undergo reaction. So come to the next question, that is the steps involved in the, okay, so the steps involved in. So for the 18th question, for the conversion of the steps involved in the conversion of propane 2 ol to propane 1 ol. Okay, it's quite simple, that is option C, heating with the phosphorus pentachloride. See, whenever the alcohol is heated with the phosphorus chloride, we will going to get a respective alkyl chloride. Okay, that upon treating with the alcoholic potash is the dehydrohalogenating agent, it will going to produce the propene. Okay, when that propene is subject to the hydroboration oxidation method, okay, which will undergo the anti-Markovnikov rule, so we will going to get a respective 1-propanol. So for this option C, that is heating with the PCl5, heating with alcoholic potash and the hydroboration oxidation method. Okay, that is for the 18th question. So the next one is which among them is the strong base, that is the question. Okay, so 19th question, which among them is the strongest base. Okay, so we know that the alcohol is like a weak acid. Okay, so if we remove the proton from here, that will become like a strong acid over there. So for this option D, that is methoxide ion is the strongest base. Okay, so that is an answer. Come to the next question, the 20th question. Okay, the 20th question is they have given a reaction, that is benzaldehyde is given and the acetaldehyde is given. Okay, in presence of a dilute NaOH, it is heated, it gives the compound actually, listen, there is a formation of C6H5CH double bond CH4. Okay, this is for the crossed aldol condensation. Okay, so the option C, that is C6H5CH double bond CH4 is the correct one. Okay, option C. Come to the 21st question, that is which of the following has the lowest boiling point. Okay, so when we say the boiling point, see, they have given alcohol, they have given amine, they have given acetic acid. Okay, all the formic acid, all these three are able to form the hydrogen bond with the water molecule. Okay, so they are going to have the high boiling point. Only the ether, that is, okay, dimethyl ether is the one which which will not going to form the hydrogen bond. Okay, it has got the low boiling point. Okay, option C, that is CH3OCH3 is the correct one. Okay, for the 22nd question, the carbonyl compound that does not undergo aldol condensation is, the carbonyl compound that does not undergo aldol condensation is, so as there is a condition for the aldol condensation that they should have what, the aldehyde or the ketone should have a alpha hydrogen atom. Okay, which don't have a alpha hydrogen atom will not undergo. So here acetone has a alpha hydrogen atom. Okay, dichloroacetaldehyde has a one alpha hydrogen atom, whereas the trichloroacetaldehyde, this is a trichloroacetaldehyde. Okay, trichloroacetaldehyde which don't have a alpha hydrogen atom will not undergo any aldol condensation. So it's option C, that is trichloroacetaldehyde. Okay, so come to the 23rd question, that they have given that is nitrobenzene initially when treated with a bromine in presence of a ferric bromide. Okay, that results in the formation of respective metabromo. Okay, so there is a substitution of a bromine at the meta position, which is when treated with a stannous in presence of a HCl, where the nitro is get reduced into NH2 that we have in a amine itself. Okay, when that is further treated with a sodium nitrate and HCl, diazotization reactance takes place. Okay, that results in the formation of a diazonium salt, which upon hydrolysis it will going to result in the formation of alcohol. Okay, N2Cl, N2 gas will come out, OH group will be substituted. Okay, this is what they have given in the option, so I have written like this. Okay, so for this option B, okay, correct one. Okay, I have written over there, you could see. Okay, the next one, 24th question, Heisenberg reagent is, this I have discussed, dear students. Okay, so Heisenberg reagent is benzene sulfonyl chloride, C6H5SO2Cl. Okay, so option B is the correct one for the 24th question. Okay, I hope it is clear. So let us move to the 25th question. The question is, which one of the following vitamin is not stored in adipose tissues? So listen, the water soluble vitamins are those, which will not going to could be stored, like what, vitamin B and vitamin C. Okay, if you remember, vitamin B and vitamin C will not be stored, okay, in a adipose tissue, where the vitamin A, D, E are the fat soluble vitamins that can be stored. Okay, so for this the answer is, for the 25th question, that is B6, vitamin B6, since it is a water soluble, it can't be stored. Okay, so let us move to the next. So for the 26th question, the hypothyroidism, okay, is caused by the deficiency of, okay, hypothyroidism is caused by the deficiency of the hormone thyroxine. Okay, so option C, that is thyroxine, is the correct one. So 27th question, C1C4 glycosidic bond is not found in, C1C4 glycosidic bond is not found in sucrose. Okay, in sucrose we could find C1C2 linkage, where the remaining will be having the C1C4. So option B, sucrose, is the correct one. Okay, 28th question, which of the following polymer has the strongest intermolecular force of attraction? Okay, so when I say strongest intermolecular force of attraction, listen, the fibers will be having, the first one is like a fiber will be having the strongest, okay, followed by the plastics, followed by the elastomers. Okay, so elastomers will be having the weak force of attraction, so they are elastic in nature. So among all the option, pterylene is the one which acts as a fiber, so option B, pterylene, is the correct one. Okay, so 29th question, which of the following monomer can undergo condensation polymerization? Okay, so condensation polymerization means there should be a presence of a particular functional group over there. Okay, so where the styrene, isoprene and the propene will readily undergo addition polymerization. Okay, whereas glycine, okay, will undergo the condensation polymerization. Okay, so for this, for the 29th question, option B, that is glycine, is the correct one. Next, 30th question, the food additive that acts as an antioxidant. Okay, that is we have BHA, option A, BHA, which acts as a food additive as well as a antioxidant agent. Okay, that is butyrylated hydroxyazole. Okay, BHA means. Okay, so that is option A is the correct one. 31st question, which of the following is not related to drug enzyme interaction? Okay, antagonist is the one. Okay, that is not related to, that word is not related to the drug enzyme interaction. Okay, whereas the site, okay, coenzyme, enzyme inhibitor are quite related. So for the 31st question, option B is the correct one. Okay, so the 32 question is like 0.4 gram of a dihydrogen is made to react with a 7.1 gram of a dichlorine to form hydrogen chloride. The volume of a hydrogen chloride formed at 273 Kelvin is how much? Okay, so this is based on the mole concept. Okay, that is based on the limiting reagent. See, the standard reaction we have, H2Cl2 will react to give 2HCl. Okay, so by the standard reaction we could get here 2 gram of a H2 reacts with a 71 gram of a chlorine. Okay, to give the respective 2 moles of a HCl. Okay, yes. Now here, if 2 gram of a hydrogen, if 2 gram of a hydrogen can need or require 71 gram of a chlorine, then they are asking 0.4 gram of a dihydrogen. They are telling it made to react with a 7.1 gram, but actually how much it will going to react, that we need to find out. So 0.4 gram of a hydrogen may react with how much, that is X. Okay, take a cross multiplication, 0.4 into 71 divided by 2, we will going to get 14.2 gram. Okay, so 14.2 gram is required, okay, for the reaction. So the answer we are getting is 14.2 gram of what the chlorine is required, but they are telling in the question that 7.1 gram. Okay, so it is the limiting reagent chlorine. So now if the 71 gram of chlorine, okay, the 71 gram of chlorine according to the standard equation can produce 22.7 into 2 gram of HCl, then 7.1 gram of chlorine can produce how much? Okay, if we do the cross multiplication, we will going to get a 4.54 liter, that is option 2 is the correct one. Okay, so the 33 question is like, okay, with respect to the photoelectric effect. Okay, so it's an option D, that is correct. In photoelectric effect, the number of electrons ejected increases with the increase in intensity of the incident light. As the intensity of the light increases, the number of electron, okay, also increases. So option D is the correct one for the 33 question.